All right, so I'm going with an intro before an intro to let you know that this three-part series I'm introducing is actually delayed by 2 weeks. This was originally going to be released on January 4th, but that's the same day my surgery happened, and I gave myself permission to, not stress myself out about launching the podcast on time and having all my collateral and drawing and everything around it. But the sad thing is that I tried to sync it up on the same day Lauren Hom was pushing out her initiative for starting a side project. And unfortunately, now her side project course has been filled up. So that's probably the biggest negative thing that happened by me pushing this back 2 weeks. But regardless, it's still great information, still great encouragement for starting a side project in 2017. And sorry, I'm sounding a little weird right now. I am still recovering from nose and throat surgery, but without further ado, let's get into the show. What's going on? You're listening to episode 22 of the Perspective Podcast, and I'm your host, Scotty.D.Russell of Perspective Collective. This show is all about encouraging you to pursue your creativity. Whether you work a day job, have a family at home, or simply don't think you have the time, I want each week to be the push you need to work on that one thing you've always wanted to, but maybe you didn't think it was going to amount to anything. Well, first things first, Happy New Year, and I hope you're eager to put out your best work yet. As cliche as that sounds, I know for me, I love looking back on the progress I've made each year, and that keeps me hungry. The biggest thing I fear is looking back and not seeing growth. But one of the biggest ways to assure growth is to pursue a side project going into 2017. If you've listened to this podcast regularly or have read any of my blogs, you know I'm a huge fan of pursuing your creativity through side projects. Perspective Collective has been one giant side project with a ton of other side projects happening within it. It hasn't been easy, but pursuing this has easily changed my life compared to what I could be doing. I'm going to take this opportunity to start the new year off with a 3-part series, which was inspired by Lauren Hom's new initiative of Your Secret Weapon side projects. Basically, we want to encourage creatives like you to pursue a side project going into 2017 and let you know the benefits of it. Lauren is an immensely talented and knowledgeable woman and has accomplished so much at her young age of 26. She recently created a blog post series as well as opening a free course pertaining to the benefits of side projects and how they have helped her amass exposure and notoriety and just tons of success at her young age. I've linked up her work and her blog post series, plus her free workshop in the show notes, and you can get that at perspective-collective.com/22. Basically, I just want this series to be an extension of her work to provide a little extra encouragement to the creative community going into the new year. All right, so the title of this one, part 1, is Your Side Project Has Greater Potential Than You Think. Basically, I just want to drive home the point that pursuing that one idea just may change your life. Would you believe me if I told you I have a friend who bought a Russian spacesuit on eBay and then he began photographing himself as just an everyday astronaut in public? Well, what if I told you this silly project is now becoming his full-time business pursuit? The person I'm referring to is my local friend Tim Dodd, and he is the creator of the Everyday Astronaut account on Instagram. This was just a little experiment that exploded with potential. And I'm going to get back to Tim later, but the point I'm trying to make is that you never know what side projects can turn into. For example, Uber was a side project. The Tim Ferriss podcast was a side project. Perspective Collective is an ongoing side project. You get the picture. This is the beginning of the 3-part series which covers the benefits to pursuing a side project in 2017. So the first part, what you're hearing right now, is to start seeing your side project hobby as something with greater potential. Part 2 is about side projects allow you to attract the kind of work you want to get paid for. And part 3 is about the 3 ingredients for increasing attention and exposure for your side project. Let's get started. All right, so side projects are the indication of future potential. I recently read a Medium article by Busy Building Things, and it summed up perfectly how a side project should be perceived. It states in the article, side projects are much more than simply hobbies. They are indicators of what you are capable of building. I began Perspective Collective in April 2014. It started off with me just needing a name for the art I was cooking up, as Scotty.D.Russell graphics was sounding pretty douchey, I hate to admit. What I didn't realize is that this new side project was providing me the platform to create whatever the hell I wanted. I had no idea it would continue to evolve into something much bigger. So over the past 2.5 years, this side project has led me to blogging, public speaking, getting awesome interviews, meeting tons of awesome creatives within the community. I've gotten great freelance work because of it. It's allowed me to teach workshops, and it also gave me the confidence to begin my own podcast, the Perspective Podcast. During this span, I've been able to catch a glimpse of what I'm capable of building. I fully believe that I can turn this into my full-time dream job someday if I just continue to push it. It's funny though, because it all starts with just a simple idea, but that idea can rapidly change when you decide to act on it. And just think, that little idea you've had swimming in your head for who knows how long now, that could change your life if you act on it right now. This brings me to the concept of creating something dope within your own lane. I heard a phrase the other day while hanging out with my buddy Chuck Means, and he said he heard this from another influencer that he follows, but it really stuck with me. The phrase was along the lines of creating something dope within your own lane. I'm a big advocate for pursuing your own creative path by doing work that resonates with you. If you're creating work that resonates with you and it's something that you enjoy, then you are making dope work by your own standards. And I need to drive home the fact that no one else's definition of dope work applies here. Over time, if you consistently share this dope work, you'll give others the opportunity to think it's dope as well. On the other hand, creating dope work in your own lanes means pursuing your own creative path. It's easy to feel like you have to follow the footsteps of another person, someone that you look up to, but you are not them. You have your own creative DNA and your story is unique. So this is why it's about staying within your own lane. Let's go back to Tim for a second, aka Everyday Astronaut. He matched his greatest strength or his greatest skill set, which is photography and, his knowledge of space, with his greatest passion, which would be outer space, and then just his dreams of becoming an astronaut. And with this greatest strength and greatest passion, he started the little project that he thought was dope. Clearly, he's in his own lane because this is an insanely clever and refreshing idea. I know, for one, I've never seen anybody do this. And he basically started by just taking spectacular photos of him in his spacesuit doing normal things non-astronaut individuals like you and me would be doing. And he hit it hard for about 2 years and was super consistent, always posting, always interacting, staying relevant in front of his ever-growing audience. And the next thing you know, he caught a big feature by Instagram. He's been all over Reddit numerous occasions, and he's been featured on a ton of other prolific sites. I'd say he's gotten enough indicators along the way that he's able to build something much greater with this side project. What's really cool about this story is he's now to the point where he's taking the risk of setting aside his successful wedding photography career so he can begin speaking and teaching on his knowledge of photography and space and his quirky character he created. And that got me thinking, if this can happen for Tim, why can't it happen for me? And if I can believe this can happen for me, why can't something like this happen for you with the side project? So going into 2017, what's your side project idea? What is something that you're interested in pursuing? And better yet, I really like how Gary Vee puts it. He states it as, what is it you wish you could do every day and get paid for? Stop seeing your side project as only a hobby when it could blossom into something much bigger than you could ever imagine. If you want it bad enough, anything is possible. 2017 is here, and you have a fresh opportunity to make it happen. All right, I hope episode 1 of this 3-part series gets you fired up for, thinking about pursuing that one thing you've always wanted to do. It's time to make a side project out of it. You don't want to go to the grave wondering, what if, why didn't I pursue that? This is your opportunity right now. You have a clean slate. It's time to make it happen. So if you're feeling the first episode about, seeing the potential of how big a side project can turn into, I think you'll really enjoy next week's episode, part 2, and I'm going to hit on how side projects allow you to attract the kind of work you want to get paid for. So if this is something you're interested in, just stay tuned. I'll have it ready for you next Wednesday. If you're finding value from the show, the best thing you can do is, 1, just leave a positive review on iTunes. That helps other people discover the show. It gets the word out, and honestly, it makes me feel pretty good about myself at the end of the day, like I actually have a purpose with this podcast. The next best way to help out is just by sharing it with a friend or sharing it on your social media. I see people retweeting episodes. I see people even creating art inspired off episodes and then tagging me in it. Like, that's so cool. Seriously, that means the world to me. I appreciate it. But those are the ways you can give back to the show. It's just by sharing it or leave a positive review on iTunes. If you want to find me online, you can go to perspective-collective.com, or I recently just started an Instagram account. Very simple. It's Perspective Podcast. Okay, look up that handle. That's where I'm going to be sharing the artwork for each week's episode. Keeping it consistent. If you've been creating artwork inspired by an episode, I'm going to be posting that and featuring and tagging you in it as well. So, you show me love, I'm going to share it and show it back. Again, that's Instagram. I'm Perspective Podcast. Finally, I just want to give a huge thank you to Blookah for the theme music that you hear on this show. You can discover him and his work at soundcloud.com/Blookah. That's BLOOKAH. As always, I want to just thank you so much for lending me your ears, and I want to encourage you to just keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep creating. You've got this.